Another just great example of how we're partnering with our customers to deliver better solutions for our end customers. So VMs based on Genoa X are now available with Microsoft HPv4 and HX VMs, empowering companies to bring the most innovative products to market. So Genoa X is just one example of how we're optimizing for different workloads. And you also heard more about Genoa and Bergamo today. Our final piece of the Zen 4 portfolio is Sienna, which is optimized for telco and edge workloads. Sienna will deliver maximum performance and energy efficiency in a cost-optimized package. And we will tell you all about this later this year. We'll bring that to market in the second half of the year. So now let me turn it over to Forrest Norrod to talk about how the modern data center is evolving and what that means for data center infrastructure. Thank you.
Thanks, Dan. AMD is delivering the industry's best set of workload-optimized CPUs. But beyond the CPU, the workload-optimized data center needs to be one where every high-value workload is supported by high-performance engines, is energy efficient, and is agile, meaning it is easy to deploy, manage, and secure. That's our vision of the data center. And I'd like to bring on Jeff Maurone of Citadel Securities to talk about their workload optimized data center built with AMD. Jeff, welcome. Jeff, thanks for coming, and maybe you could tell us a little bit first off about Citadel and Citadel Securities.
Absolutely, Forrest. So Citadel is really two firms. First, we are the world's most profitable hedge fund, managing about $60 billion. But Citadel Securities is the world's largest market-making firm. This is where I work and what I'm here to talk about. What does that mean? So as a market-making firm, we provide buyers and sellers, financial investors, opportunities to buy or sell any asset at a competitive price. And we do this at massive scale. So on any given day in the US equities market, 25% of shares that change hands pass through one of our systems. We do that for equities, options, ETFs, treasuries, and a variety of other assets at exchanges around the world. So now if you think about us from a technology perspective, it's best to think of us as real-time predictive analytics. We develop complex pricing models that predict where the market's going, sometimes to the millisecond or microsecond scale, and then as quickly as possible, we deliver those prices to the market. Now there's really two technology platforms that underpin this business, two platforms with very, very different workloads. First, there's a computational research platform that we use to develop these strategies and test them. And then there's an ultra-low latency platform that we use to respond very quickly to buyers and sellers in the market. Underlying both of these platforms, there's a complex monitoring layer to make sure that those models are always performing safely and effectively in the market.
Great, great. Thanks for the overview. And now let's dive into each one of those. Tell us more about the research platform.
Yes, so let's talk about research. Research for us means developing hypotheses about where market prices are going, expressing those hypotheses in code, and then testing them. But here's the catch. Testing for us means releasing those strategies in a simulation of the entire market and seeing how they perform under a variety of different environments and scenarios. And so the compute platform that we need to do this demands enormous scalability and a real focus on workload optimization. So, as an example, all of this research, which runs in the public cloud, reaches a peak demand of about 1 million concurrent cores and relies on a market data archive of nearly 100 petabytes. In late 2020, we transitioned all of that workload to AMD and saw a 35% improvement in research performance. And so here is where Epic's innovation, particularly in memory bandwidth, has truly unlocked a different level of performance for our business.
That's fantastic. That's an enormous problem at a very impressive scale. There are not many workloads that require 1 million concurrent cores. And we're proud that you've trusted us with that and that Epic provides you that performance boost. Now, Tell us about the trading platform, because I think that's a little bit different story.
Very different, very different. So here's where we're vastly different, and I would say the polar opposite of many of the hyperscalers we heard from just a few minutes ago. So densification and virtualization are simply not welcome in this platform. And in fact, we invest massive resources internally and with AMD as our partner to take microseconds, nanoseconds, and soon picoseconds off our latency. And every one of the cores that run in this platform run in some of the most expensive data center real estate in the world. Expensive because it is as physically close as possible to the centers of financial markets. Right. So here's where our AMD partnership is also essential. If there is a packet of market data that is passing through that platform, it is guaranteed to go through a solar flare NIC. And for the most latency sensitive strategies that we run, Xilinx FPGAs are absolutely essential. Quite frankly, they bring to market strategies and models that otherwise would never see the light of day.
You know, Jeff, Citadel Securities is obviously a great example of the theme that we've been talking about, which is workload optimization and the need for workload optimized solutions. And you certainly have two very different problems.
Yeah, absolutely. And in research, we look very similar to a hyperscaler, but in low latency trading, we look about the opposite. And AMD has done an excellent job of understanding complex, multifaceted customers like Citadel Securities. And I look forward to continuing to innovate on products that make a difference for our business and improve how financial markets function.
Well, thanks very much, Jeff. Thanks for being here today, but more importantly, thanks for the trust and partnership over the years.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.